This is also the penultimate round for the Matrix Fitness Grand Prix, and I'm here with Alice Barnes, who I talked to yesterday after that superlative solo victory, and of course Drops doing fantastically well. You could still get caught though, right?
Yeah, obviously you can't guarantee anything until the race is over, so we've got to keep digging in the next 2 rounds. And obviously with the double points in Portsmouth, it's going to be a really key race. So yeah, we'll give it our best shot tonight and hopefully we get another good round in.
Personally, you struck out in Stevenage. It was wonderful to watch. You absolutely dominated from the front. Are you going to go for a similar strategy here in Croydon?
I'm going to have to see how the race pans out to start with, how I'm feeling and how I'm going around the corners and how the other riders are doing. So I might follow the wheels to start with and then see how I'm feeling and maybe put a few attacks in, yeah.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to one of those attacks. I think you're being called forward to the start line now, so I'll let you get on with it. And for the rest of us, it's over to our commentators, Carlton Kirby and Tony Gibb.
Thanks, Jason. Well, we go racing here in Croydon. 9 corners to deal with on a difficult course to master. It's only 1 kilometre, but with 9 nasty turns along the way, times here are going to be an awful lot slower than they were in Stevenage. So Croydon welcomes us, a clean surface, I think it's fair to say, after rain washed through earlier on today, but this is going to be dramatic. And even the sighting lap, they're out of the saddle and getting on with it.
Well, polar opposite here to Stevenage with all of these corners. This will be fast and furious, but expect lots and lots of action. As you say, Carlton, slightly damp around the edges, and the rain earlier was biblical.
It certainly was. Likewise, the performance, I guess you might say, of Drops Cycling. They've been outstanding throughout this series. So it's strung out already, and who's going to take a step forward? That's the question. It looks like Grace Garner just rolls off, almost a change of tempo rather than anything else.
Yes, she does. She just pushes off the front of the bunch, doesn't really attack, but you can see the sheen on this surface here and the white lines. Very, very tricky tonight.
Oh, and there we are. Tricky indeed. Redden goes down. Toms gets tangled as well. Well, they'll pick themselves up here, but bruises already as we head back on this start-finish straight. The opening sprint will beckon shortly. They need to pick themselves back up, but the pace that we're engaged with here, despite the technical nature of the circuit, they're clean away, and that's a big gap to bridge.
Well, town centres, white lines, and it's very, very wet as well. Always going to be a tricky one, and now this race is in bits. That crash really hasn't helped.
Certainly has. Grace Garner is in her pomp here. It wasn't exactly an attack, but it was a change of tempo that's actually given what seems to be a country mile on everybody else. It must be at least 100 metres that she's already achieved. Sprint lap then, she rolls through it and starts this challenge. This is how we stand at 4 rounds. Nikki Juniper is out there, Park on 24, Barnes on 22, but Juniper's 27 points. Well, it's worth eating into that gap, and Grace Garner's decided to do exactly that.
She has pushed away here around this corner. You can see how bad the weather's been. We've got leaves blowing across the circuit, and the bunch down to only, what, 15, probably 20 riders, with some chasing back on this sprint lap.
And Nikki Juniper nailing, of course, that green and white jersey to her own back. She was nursing it last time by. Now she owns it, but owning the day, Grace Garner. This is, would you believe, a sprint lap, and she's just masterfully just finding her way around all of these corners, of which there are 9, and some of them are quite focused here, Tony.
They are, you know, right-hand bends, 90-degree bends, and we've got this sort of cut through the middle of the circuit where we go up and down the slip road. We are literally in the middle of Croydon town centre, so there's a lot of diesel and oil and normal debris on the road. So very, very tricky surface, and the average speeds tonight are going to be much reduced.
Well, in the world of an assassin, this is a gentle job, I think it's fair to say. Grace Garner has just stuck the knife between everybody else's ribs, and she may well be twisting it after this. Check this out. Grace Garner is just clean away. She looks like she's on a private run.
She does, coming up to this sprint, less than 100 metres to go. She's not pulling any faces at the moment, got this very much under control.
So the big sprint is going to be for second place behind, and you can suspect that it's going to be a feisty one, and no doubt about it, class will out. Nikki Juniper, who owns that green jersey for the time being, is keeping hold of it just for now. 4 points to her. Alice Barnes picks up 3. Lewis Laker with 2, and Rebecca Durrell with the last of the points. Confirmation about how they roll through. Drops keeping it lively, still with 2 in the points on the individual sprint here, but Grace Garner is away. Welcome back. Well, Team Ford EcoBoost and Nikki Juniper just pushed on from that first intermediate sprint. They managed to catch up with Grace Garner. It was a coming together, and Grace has been absorbed, but Juniper and Broughton have pushed on here. And as we approach this second intermediate sprint, they're looking good for Team Ford EcoBoost.
It's a new team for this year, Carlton, and Nikki Juniper has been instrumental in putting it together along with Nick Yarworth. They're gelling quite well together. They've still got some work to do, but obviously Nikki Juniper loving this Tour Series and especially the sprints competition.
You know, on a technical surface such as this, or a circuit I should say, you need to be so careful about putting too much in too early. We've seen it in other rounds during this season. And of course, the series itself has lent itself to rain. It's had a technical services, some rises and falls. This is relatively flat despite these downhill and uphill drags that we've got here. But with 9 curves, it's hard to master, and you can expend too much energy along the way. And I think that's what Grace Garner's done here, because Alice Barnes and Rebecca Dorrell, who were also in the frame in that opening sprint, are also up here. Neith Evans also joining the fun for the Scotland cycling team. She's been going well on occasion, and this is one of those, it seems.
Going very well indeed, and what you'll see, Carlton, here is that we've got a lot of lapped riders as well, and given the nature of certain parts of this circuit, there's nowhere that they can go to get out of the way. They go to the left and very quickly they're in the way on the left, they go to the right and they're in the way there. So these twists and turns really not helping, because it's a very hard circuit and the front group has been trimmed down very quickly indeed.
Well, our lap times are well down as well, 20 and 30 seconds or so on our last run in Stevenage, which was more swooping curves, but this is about attack, and Nikki Juniper is going for it right now, pulling off with about 125 metres to go, and just gapping absolutely everybody and making sure that if she was runner-up in the first of the sprint, she's going to own this one, and does so. Charlotte Broughton making it a 1-2 for Team Ford EcoBoost. Alice Barnes of Drop Cycling making it 2 for them, as you can see with Dorrell in there, and Neith Evans solid in 4th place for the Scotland team. Excellent result. So how does it pan out for here, round 5? It looks like this for Croydon. Nikki Juniper with a 5 and 4 makes it 9 for the night. Barnes with 6. Grace Garner, who won the first sprint, gets nothing out of this one, the second. It shows you've got to keep your power where you need it. Nikki Juniper's pushing on here. She leads after 5 rounds, of course, on 36 points, and looks good for the title ahead of Barnes.
Pushing on's exactly what she's doing, trying to get away, and look at the damage that has caused to this bunch now. With just 2 to go, we've got a very select group of 10 riders in the lead.
We certainly have. The winner surely going to come from this bunch that you're looking at right now. There are riders all over this circuit, I have to say, but it does look like a club outing just for now, because an elite one at that, I guess you might say. Drops pushing on. They've been so dominant so far this season. They've been in the mix as far as the intermediate sprints are concerned, Tony. Don't be surprised if they produce another sterling result here tonight.
Another new team for this year, and Drops, the wallpaper company, come in to sponsor them and put together a great team. Really, really dominant. They look the part. They've got great bike sponsors, going really well across the whole of the UK domestic scene.
Well, they had some fun in rounds 1, 2, 4, and of course last time out at Stevenage, but there are other teams here with a huge interest in stopping their progress in the teams competition. Individually, Grace Garner wrapped it up in the opening sprint and then faded, but she remains within this group. Nikki Juniper, though, looks so strong in the individual competition, but it's about the team, we remind you, and everyone checking over shoulders, just seeing where teammates are and wanting to neutralise any move that might show up right now, albeit potentially a gentle one, I guess, because the legs must be feeling tired by now.
Absolutely, Carlton, not just as a result of this round, but the last 3 or 4 rounds that they've had. They've come fast and furious, along with all the travelling and the weekends racing. The light is now coming through the end of the tunnel with this Tour Series. 1 round to go, but still everything up for grabs.
Absolutely, it's still getting very, very cagey as the time goes out. We hit the final laps on this day. Some great intermediate sprints, but now it's the big prize.
Big prize indeed coming up. 1 lap to go. We started this race almost in flood-like conditions. The rain was pouring down about an hour before. The sun's come out, the crowd have come out, the bell's now being rung. Who's going to take the victory tonight?
Final lap then, and everyone looking very, very cagey. Interesting to see some little movement here within the group. 2 from Podium Ambition, couple from Drops as well. Nicky Juniper is also here with a teammate. Who's going to get this? You may well have to lean on your teammate, or maybe just do it yourself. And Juniper just comes out of the saddle and just drifts into the centre of the road there, wearing that green accented jersey. And here we go, another of these corners, almost inexorably. We take one after the other. They're all 90 degrees, and they're all tough to take smoothly.
They are indeed 3 riders from Drops here in those leaders white and red jerseys with those light blue coloured helmets on, just coming round now to the back end of this circuit. Going to be a fast and furious sprint. Just need to make sure they get round these corners, because this next one's a real dodgy one, almost 180 degrees.
It's a nightmare. They've padded it up good and proper, particularly on the exit, as you can see, or the dead centre of it. And here they come, and now they've got to take this little ramp back up again. There'll be a 90-degree right-hander, then another one, and then another on this strange circuit, I guess you might say. It's maybe not one you choose to race yourself, but it's provided some thrilling entertainment here, and the drive is on for glory.
Drives on at the front, pushing on with about 400 metres to go now. Nicky Juniper, Team Ford EcoBoost in 4th place there. They'll be looking for some individual glory, because Drops here at this stage, barring any incidents, have got this one nailed on.
Well, we'll see if that happens, and we'll see how they take these final series of curves as soon as they see the start-finish straight, which we've got right now. 150 metres to go. This is where you've got to find the power. Nicky Juniper's got some, but Grace Garner, who rested up for the second sprint. Wise indeed. She's kind of done herself a negative split and delivers absolute genius here. Cross the line, save some energy, why don't you? And then just open the tap when you need to. Grace Garner takes it ahead of Alice Barnes. Nicky Juniper good enough for 3rd place here. Lydia Boylan in 4th ahead of Charlotte Broughton. What a run to the line. Grace Garner takes it. Alice Barnes, runner-up on the night. Nicky Juniper making up the day's podium. Lydia Boylan and Charlotte Broughton rounding out the top 5. Well, Grace Garner has had 3 top 5s, but now on the top step, she wins here in Croydon.
I just saw an opportunity to go for it, and I knew that I was quite up there in the points jersey, so yeah, it was a good opportunity to take some points and also just to test the legs out and test the course.
Okay, so you say test the legs out, test the course. What was the information you were receiving back from that particular scientific analysis?
Yeah, my legs were pretty good, and yeah, I knew I could take the corners pretty fast, so I was pleased.
I was really marked today, and Nicky Juniper seemed to be following me quite a lot, which I did expect, and other riders were let to roll away. So once it all came back to the bunch sprint, it was quite a good sprint to finish.
Drops Cycling then dominating overall on 475 points. It's a country mile between them and nearest rivals Podium Ambition on 419. The Drops Cycling team, who can beat them? Well, it seems absolutely nobody. They really are supreme.